Now, in this lesson in our home buying process course, we're going to go over the home appraisal. I get lots of questions about the home appraisal. I hope this clears up many, if not all. What is a home appraisal? A home appraisal is a process where a real estate appraiser determines the fair market value of a home. The appraiser inspects the home and compares it to other homes in the area that have recently sold. So real estate agents will do, you probably heard CMA, comparable market analysis. We're letting you know what we feel the home will be worth. And with experience, we usually are pretty on point there. Well, lenders and insurance companies and all the people handling all the big money are not okay with that. They want the licensed appraisal who does a much more in-depth one. Some of the factors they consider is the home's condition, repairs that might be needed, the age, location, number of bedrooms, baths, and the quality used to build the home. They do go inside the home. They're not usually in there very long. They do take a few photos, and then they do a lot of their research to eventually come back with what they feel the home does appraise at. Like I mentioned, they do physically go to the property. They conduct a room-by-room walkthrough. They take notes, the home's condition, and what repairs might be needed. A lot of this, too, by the way, there's different types of appraisals done depending on the loan type. VA appraisers, there's FHA appraisals, there's just different types. Some will come back, you think you're past the home inspection, and the appraiser will be like, no, that hole in the wall behind the washer, that needs to be fixed. We don't allow holes in the walls on VA appraisals. One time I had a bedroom lock it was so old, the window, it wouldn't lock, like the little side thing didn't move or something, or it was broke. It was so old we couldn't even find it. But in order for the appraisal to go through, to get the loan, we had to do something where finally someone came up with, there was a window, thank goodness, in the garage. We took the lock off the window, put it on the bedroom window, ended up closing the deal. Isn't that crazy? It's okay about the garage or even the big rock laying outside the window that could easily smash through the glass, but that lock had to be fixed. So you just never know. They compare the home to other homes nearby that have recently sold and research recent sales of similar properties. Again, this is a lot what the real estate agent would do, but theirs is by far way more in depth, and they have certain forms and regulations they have to uphold. How do they decide the home value? Well, there are many factors. Again, the bedroom count, special features, the floor plan, square footage, the neighborhood sales, the type of sales. Is there a lot of homes selling in that area, upgrades, all kinds of different things. The market trends. They compare the home's feature, age, and condition to other similar homes in the area and what they sell for. Here's a big one. How long to get the appraisal back? Well, in our world of do it now, get it tomorrow, not with appraisals. This is why a good experienced agent will keep on top of the lender, because sometimes they wait to order the appraisal and then it's backed up and now we're not closing on time. You might think, what's the big deal? Well, if you're closing simultaneously on your other home, super important, we close your new home at the same time so you're not living in a hotel for 2 weeks. A home appraisal will usually take 1 to 2 weeks to complete. However, it can take up to a month in some circumstances. The home inspection portion of appraisal typically takes between 30 minutes and 2 hours for the appraisal to actually do the work. However, the entire appraisal process, from scheduling to getting the report, can take anywhere between 3 business days to 2 weeks or longer. It really ranges. This one time, not too long ago, it was great. I had the appraisal back, I think, in 2 days. I don't know if it was a new appraiser or what it was, or she's just on top of her game. I was like, what? See, the thing is, nobody gets to pick the appraiser neither. Because I was like, I pick her every time. She was great, right on point, and got it back in 2 days. Who wouldn't love that? Because we're all like, oh my gosh, is it going to appraise? Is it going to appraise? You never know. Sometimes they come back with these crazy things. You got to try and fight it. It's almost impossible. But again, a good experienced agent, especially if there's two, the listing and the buyer's agent, we can usually get that right on point. Okay, how much does it cost? The cost of a home appraisal depends on several factors: location, size, loan type, value, and the detail in the appraisal. Remember when I had mentioned there's different types of appraisals? There's a VA, FHA appraisal. There's different types. Those are the level in the details, okay? The national average cost of a home appraisal is around $350. However, the cost can range from $300 to $800. I've even seen some start at $600 and go over $1,000. Those are like a little more farther down south in your bigger mansion type homes. Sorry, they're there for a while. It's a lot more research, or maybe it's a unique home and it's hard for them to find other comparable sales and they got to put a lot more work into it. There's just different variables. But like I mentioned here, it's, I don't know, plan around $500-$600. That's what I usually say when someone asks me, or talk to the lender because they're the ones that order it. They get it first. Sometimes I forget to tell the agent. I'm like, yeah, it's real important. I need to know if it appraised or not. So if you get it, make sure your agent knows as well. If you don't care to tell them how much, you can just tell them if it passed or not. If it didn't appraise, it's super important your agent knows. Because guess what? We got to go back to the seller and say, hey, man, we can't pay $50,000 over. Your home only appraised for this. Let's work something out. Because it was back during the pandemic, people were paying buku bucks over. The homes were not appraising. They were paying way over. I think I had a couple like 45, 60,000. They're bringing cash to close because the lender's only going to lend up to the appraisal amount. If the house is worth more, you got to come up with the cash. It was bonkers back then, I'm telling you. Which brings to who pays for the appraisal? Well, if the mortgage broker in Florida requires it, the buyer will have to pay for the home, and they usually require it. Now, there are circumstances when they just absolutely 100% no. They'll say, we're waiving the appraisal. Everyone's like, yes, praise the Lord. Not only do you save $500-$600 or more, we don't have to worry about it. We're just smooth sailing till closing as long as nothing comes up with the lender, some like credit mishap or something. Just had a deal not too long ago. 4 days before closing, I had the listing. I wasn't representing the buyer. And the lender, who was not a Florida lender from a different state, that's why it's horrible, missed that the guy had student loans. We didn't close. The buyer had put so much in. He lost his escrow. It was really, really a sad day. And it appraised. Everything was great, but you still just never know with these lenders. That's why you want to have a really good lender. They should have caught that weeks ago. Now, if the seller wants to appraise their property for a sale, they will have to pay for it. But here in Florida, the lender's going to 9 times out of 10 require an appraisal. In some cases, it does get waived. And in rare cases, a seller may cover the appraisal costs. For example, if the housing market leans in favor of the buyer, the seller may pay for the fee. We can ask for that. Hey, we pay for the appraisal. That's not typical here. I've never actually done that. I've been selling since 2011. But hey, everything's negotiable, right? Another huge point, federal regulations state that neither the buyer nor the seller can choose the appraiser for themselves. Nope, the lender does. Nobody can talk to the appraiser. It's this crazy thing. You have to wait. They got to communicate through some portal. It just keeps it fair and honest. Remember that the appraised value may differ from the price of which a buyer and seller agree, as it is an independent assessment of the property's worth based on established criteria and market data. Additionally, the specific regulations and standards for home appraisals may vary by region and county. Well, I hope you found this video helpful in your home buying process.